Tony Abbott has ventured into the thorny territory of industrial relations, promising a more workable system if he's elected Prime Minister. At a business forum today, the opposition leader zeroed in on weekend and public holiday pay and conditions in some of his most detailed comments on the subject since the last election. Political correspondent Tom Iggulden reports from Canberra.
A captive audience proved an irresistible opportunity for the opposition leader.
I don't mean to be political today, ladies and gentlemen, but I have to tell the truth.
You've seen it all before. The tourism industry is beset by a high dollar and low visitor numbers. Tony Abbott was looking to buoy spirits. His first target, the bureaucracy in Canberra.
And we will give every single one of them a red tape reduction target. And public service bonuses will not be paid if those targets are not met.
But the opposition leader was at his most sympathetic on the subject of industrial relations.
There's workplace relations changes over the last few years that are making it harder for you to stay open on Sundays, after hours, on public holidays.
Mr Abbott's been making vague promises to return to the sensible centre of industrial relations for some months. Today, a glimpse into what that might actually mean.
You do need more flexibility in your workplace arrangements. Individual flexibility agreements must be made more workable, and we will do that.
Julia Gillard was also courting tourism operators today, albeit far fewer of them.
We could only make this happen for one city.
She's picked Brisbane to host the G20 summit of world leaders in late 2014. A security operation the size of which hasn't been seen since APEC 5 years ago will cost the federal government $370 million. But the Prime Minister says it's worth it for the cash it'll put into the Queensland economy.
We're talking about $20 million in hotel accommodation alone, around $30 million in all of the services that need to be sourced locally to make a major event like this happen. Congratulations.
Queensland premiers welcomed the announcement with the proviso his government won't be splashing out to help fund the event. The Prime Minister says Sydney's bid for the meeting failed because of renovations to the city's convention centre.
Its principal convention facility was out of action. And then, of course, there were some concerns about the restrictions at Sydney Airport, which is under a lot of day-to-day pressure.
But the local planning minister's not buying that.
You've got to know that Julia Gillard's got some other agenda operating, and that clearly is the next election. She's trying to shore up the votes in Queensland.
Last year, Perth hosted the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, but if that was supposed to improve Julia Gillard's standing in the West, it doesn't appear to have worked. Today, the state Labor opposition leader was asked whether he'd invite the Prime Minister over to help him campaign in next year's state election. His reply, "I wouldn't think so." Tom Iggulden, Late Line.